Nikki, is Nikki supposed to be at the front desk?
Shauna or Karen should be there.
Okay, someone's waiting, but, Lonnie, what was I just gonna say? Oh,
There should be a meeting already.
oh, hi, Daryl. Oh,
Hi, Sally.
and Earl, awesome.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, let's get going.
Hi.
Okay, we are on our lunch hour, brown bag lunch.
I wasn't sure if I could eat in front of you guys, so I do have.
Of course, please do. You are being recorded, so eat with dignity.
Yeah, that would, yeah, I hear you.
So this is exciting. We have all the measurements for the signal boxes. Hi, Earl. And we're deciding today of the artists we chose in the last meeting for the signal boxes, which is just a small handful, where we would like them. The next step would be to put a call to artists out, which we did in 2021. And for the remaining boxes. So we have 10 locations. We have 2 boxes at each location. And we chose Mauricio, River, Jose, and Juan, and maybe Laura Martinez, who had the photography of the raccoons and hummingbirds, and she'd like to do something. So pardon? So yeah, so I thought what we would do is look at the art again, and then look at the locations, or I don't know what would be best. I have a spreadsheet of the locations are on there. So yeah, so what we could do is maybe let's look at the locations just to remind everyone where the locations are.
Chief Messenger.
So this is 80 and come away with 2 boxes. '96 and South Tacoma Way. Oh, that's just another photo of that. 100th and South Tacoma Way. 112th and Bridgeport. 512 and South Tacoma Way. These are all really highly visible places. Stillicum and Bridgeport. Stillicum and Gravely Lake. Stillicum and Hagness. Stillicum and Lakeview. Stillicum and South Tacoma Way. Okay, and then Nikki, had you go back to, and then I think we'll just go through each artist, starting with Jose Arantes. He showed last, so it's fresh in everyone's mind. And he was here January, February, and March. He's one of the Latino artists. And just a reminder that we've always done a call to artists as a way of getting a really broad spectrum of artists to submit. For those of you who weren't part of that process before, we did a call to artists. We had a selection process. And then for these most recent 4 that we chose at the last meeting, that was from the Latino art group that we've been working with since that's one of the biggest populations we have in terms of cultural diversity as the Latino population. So again, we'll be working with the 4 or 5 Latino artists we chose, and then for the remaining 5 boxes, we'll put a call to artists out. Well, I guess let's start with Juan because Juan's first. Juan is the one who submitted the mural idea, and these were his ideas. I'll go through them once and then we can go back again. And you're looking at it to see if you want these specific images or have him come up with something new. Yeah, so that was it. So this, and remember, there's lots of sides to the boxes. So he would take our input. We could say something like, well, we like all of them, create something for the 2 boxes. Each of the artists will get 2 boxes, a large box, a medium-sized box, and a small box. And it'll be helpful to call it by name when we were discussing this. Okay, let's open that up for discussion. It's already been agreed that he'll have a box. It's just what location and what art.
I think for me, the elephants and the horses, I mean, that's a really intriguing one, but I don't know how that's going to translate onto a box because it seems like you need to see the whole entire thing to understand what it is.
Did you say elephants?
Yeah, the very first one that you were just on, the watercolored, like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you look at it as one piece, you can kind of see elephants and horses, but I don't know how that's going to actually translate onto a box. It may just be kind of blobs of colors on it. Out of Juan's, I really like the dancing in motion. I think that's my favorite one.
Absolutely, I agree with Earl. I love the dancer at the end. I think that could be something that's really and maybe if I mean I like the muted colors. I like that it's not like everything isn't all primaries all the time.
Sure.
So, yeah. So I like that one.
And the animals I just don't get for Lakewood.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like the dancer. I like the first one too, the elephants. But you're right, Earl, it's just going to be like abstract colors.
So we can let them know that we like dancing in motion. We like the abstract, steer away from the animals. Any other feedback?
I tend to agree with those.
Okay. Okay, great. And then it might be easier. I don't know if you could call up at the same time. I have a spreadsheet of the locations, which I don't know if that's going to be easier for you just to see the locations, but essentially we've got 5 on South Tacoma Way.
I think we should pick the art first and then see where it would best land.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so we'll go to the next, which is Jose. Again, you saw all of his artwork. It doesn't have to be these pieces. These are samples. His sailboats, fish, sailboats and butterflies. Or if there were any others you saw at the reception that you recall of his that you liked. again, you know, this has to be digitized, so it doesn't have to be the exact piece.
I would say generally, I think any of the stuff would translate pretty well. It's kind of universal, like as far as the look.
Agreed.
What
I
he-
really like the salmon one.
Yeah, I think I liked that one too. Was that a couple back? But I think, yeah, oh wait, nope. Nope, next one, that one. Nope, yep, that one. But I think most of his stuff looks like could probably translate pretty well into a box.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree. I think the only thing that in his art show that wouldn't translate was he had one like that was a bridge going to an island, and I just didn't think that spoke to our area. But I feel like all the other is pretty generic and does speak to Lakewood with water and boats and fish, butterflies. Okay. Moving on to River. And she, remember, does have art here at City Hall. I don't know if any of you walked out after the meeting and looked at what she has here, but these are some things that she submitted. She's got a beautiful piece out here that's like a Native American with an octopus. You know,
love
the one
that
I-
one.
like that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think her, she's got, yeah, this really ethereal style. But I think those I think those black and white ones of hers are
It's
very,
right up.
the strong patterned ones are interesting too. And they're very different styles.
I agree
But
Are
with
they
that.
see-
I
are they
really
seeing
like how
those
she
boxes,
presented
or are
the
they seeing the
pieces.
faces?
What was that, Earl?
I
Say
said
that
I
again.
agree with what Lonnie had said, and I really like her presentation on how she kind of wrapped them on the box. That's a great way for us to visualize it.
Excuse me, Nikki, can they see both, or are the faces? Okay, so can we hide the,
I mean, they can see, yeah.
I want them to see the second box.
Yeah, they can see it. If you. can
Because
see
I
it, I'll
can't.
Just minimize it over there, yeah,
Oh, she got locked out.
where the people are, it's up top, a little bit of my stuff. Oops. That's okay.
Into the void. So yeah, she just wanted some direction on which of the boxes. And honestly, I think she whipped these up. She's just truly an amazing artist quite quickly.
I really like the more dramatic one. I like that one too. But I like the one that is more the one on the left. Back one more. That one is just like the whole black and white.
Yeah, I agree with
Mhm.
Patty on that.
Yeah, I like all the water references in that one. There's more than on the right one,
Uh-huh.
I guess is what I want to say.
Okay.
So that's probably the sun version of that one versus the moon. I don't know how you describe
Ooh, I
that.
just got that. Yeah, I think you're right, because there's a moon on the one on the right, and it's night.
Yeah.
The other one, I guess, would be day. What is that bag down there on the ground, though?
What hidden treasures are in there?
I know, scary.
Any feedback on these? Again, what she would probably do is match the smaller box to go with that design. So she'd probably just come up with something, but if we have any feedback. And then Emily just looked at the one in the hallway. What was that?
Into the void.
It's called Into the Void. And it's and I don't know how that would translate into a box, but it's really beautiful.
There were a couple.
My
pieces.
favorite is the black and white one on the first screen.
Okay,
think that's
so
my
we're,
favorite.
we'll say that everyone could agree on that one. How about that?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. This is Roberto Sanchez. He was one of our artists that was original when we did our call to artists in 2021. And he was not a finalist, but was a to be considered artist.
Are we able to look at his earlier stuff that he had submitted to us?
We could go back and do that.
Yeah. I love his work. So
Okay,
I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but I would like a refresher on the other stuff he had sent us too.
okay. Let's do that after this. Any other comments? Okay, this is Christine Ward Westfall. She has done 2 boxes already. She's from Lakewood. And these are some submissions. And anyone can just pipe up, say what they think.
So the water lily one right there,
Yeah, I like that one.
I like that one a lot. But I almost want to, I know it's not a box that we're thinking about doing, but that water lily one would look great with the blue heron one that she has. Because that second box was never wrapped.
Oh, I like that idea.
And maybe we could take one of those boxes that we're considering, and because I think that water lily would go amazing with her blue heron. All the color schemes match.
That's on the island on Steilacoom Boulevard.
Exactly, that one.
Okay.
Well, and that kind of ties in like the lake reference, because herons and water lilies, especially like at, Wahop Lake and stuff. That's a very Lakewood thing, I think.
I like that idea. And anybody else want to give some feedback on that?
A strong piece, for sure.
I do. I'm not a big fan of the car one, but I do like if there could be a reference, somewhere to the raceway at some point. Do we have anything? And I can't remember. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Sally, we do have that one from Chuck Matthias. Remember from a few months ago with the Speedway one?
Oh.
'Cause that was an amazing piece.
Because that would be cool. That's why I said I'm not like that's the only thing that this made me think of cars, made me think of the raceway thing. And I thought, oh, well, that's a cool idea, but I don't think that is something very good for a box, but the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of doing something on the speedway, down on Steilacoom Boulevard there where Clover Park is.
Earl, did you email that to me?
Pretty sure I did.
Okay, I just
Here, let me check in my email. So give me a minute.
Can you
okay,
guys,
so
first, can you guys hear me first?
yeah.
Okay, awesome. And you said Christine Westfall has a couple of boxes already in the city?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to check that. And then I know the old Lakewood Speedway, I think went through what is the intersection of 112th and Bridgeport. That's one of the spots where you talked about having a box. So if you're looking for an automotive speedway themed thing, that would be a good location.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sally, I just forwarded that email off to you again.
Okay, oh great. I'll see if I can call it up. Good spot for Speedway. Okay, we'll try to do that before this ends. Okay, so we will move on. And we'll look at wrapping the second box with the green heron and adding the water lily. Again, this was just one of Susan Russell Hall's. She lives in Lakewood, very famous artist. She has agreed we can use any of her art. She has the website, and we have used two of her pieces, the Hummingbird by the library, and then another one by Chick-fil-A. And I just pulled that in. And then Mauricio submitted. I think the feedback was people really like the idea of a dog because we have a lot of dog lovers here, and Washington State's best dog park.
This is true. How many boxes does he have? He has 3, right? Or I think
I think he might have more than 3. So Mauricio has maybe 4 or 5 boxes.
he's got a lot of boxes.
He's got a lot of boxes.
Because we like his stuff.
We like his stuff.
It's nice, it looks nice wrapped.
It
too,
looks
like
really
that.
nice
Yeah, yeah.
And just a reminder, I think we have something like 65 locations. So we do have a lot of boxes to wrap.
I really
we're
like
not-
this one with the fish. I think that's really cool.
Any other feedback?
I like the fish and I like the dog. But I'm just worried that he's got a monopoly on boxes right now.
Agreed.
We do need to remember that we did a call for artists in Lakewood, and we got a lot of submissions, but a lot of them were not chosen due to quality of the artwork. I mean, we'll do another call, but I don't know what the chances are that new artists have moved into the area. Okay, no other feedback. I think we need to decide, are we going to let Mauricio do a box? Do you want him to do a box this round, or do you want him to skip this round? We're doing 10 locations this round, and it's up to all of you. I've only heard from 2 people on this.
I think we could do one more box with him. It's only if it's in a different area other than Gravelly Lake Drive. As we break it up, I don't. It may not seem like we're falling into a theme.
Well, you said there's what, 65 boxes. So just if you felt the need and you wanted to spread it out, move him to a different place, like you said, Earl, or
Yeah,
else.
which these areas are completely different on the other side
Yeah.
of town.
You know, South Tacoma Way might be a really good location for him because traffic goes so fast and it's so busy, and these just really pop, and
I
you
like
can see
that.
them in a glance.
Yeah,
I
so
like the
I
idea of-
could vote for one of his.
Okay, so it sounds like I'm assuming if someone's not in favor of this, they will speak up, but otherwise we'll give Mauricio a box probably on South Tacoma Way, and we can drill down on that. So that is the end of the submissions for the Latino artists, except for Laura Martinez is not on here, and she's displaying right now. And I asked everyone to oh, and you like the fish too. Okay. And I asked everyone who was at the meeting to go take a peek at her artwork. And essentially, well, I want to keep it on just in case. So essentially, she has photographs of hummingbirds, raccoons, bees. And I told her that we already have a hummingbird. I mean, it's Susan Russell Hall's hummingbird, but it might seem odd to have two hummingbirds, although they're very different. One's, you know, the actual hummingbird, one's a painting. I know there was some feedback about liking the raccoons. There's butterflies and bees, and she could put a montage together of photographs of the animals and nature. And so did anyone have a chance to look, and what did you think? And she lives in Lakewood. So she lives in Lakewood, and I know that was important to council member Laura Sella and some other people.
Yeah, I thought her photographs were really good. I think if you're going to break it up into a bunch of individual ones on a box, it should be in an area that has a lot of walking traffic, because people in vehicles likely won't be able to discern smaller pieces like that.
Yeah, good point. Can I hear from anyone else on her work, please?
I did like a lot of her work. I'm just not sure how that would translate into a box. So I'm kind of having a little bit of difficulty with that one, but I'm willing to see what other people's opinions are.
So one note on that, Earl, is that Mauricio has graciously offered to help these artists. It takes a lot of his time and he's very busy. But I think we can tell by his work, we can trust him to give these artists good advice. And when they're trying to display it on the boxes.
I think that's a great suggestion, and it'd be great to take him up on that offer, but we can't approve anything without seeing what their end result's going to actually be. You know, we can't just, you know, just say she gets a box and then, you know, because we don't know what it's going to end up being like. So, but I think that's an amazing idea for Mauricio to assist us.
Yeah, I'd like to see a montage. I think that would be interesting to see what she puts together.
I think it was a different style, so it would be nice to have that represented on a box.
Mhm.
But I agree with what Earl said about seeing something.
So I'm going to remind everyone of the approval process. So what happens is we'll decide here what box they get, and then they work directly with Print Northwest. And then I get a proof, and it's actually superimposed on a box. And it has a link, a private link. So I'll screenshot those and I'll send them out via email for approval and feedback. So you can see, they always ask, I have to actually sign off before it gets printed and created. So, so we'll all have our eyes on that before they get completed. Awesome. Okay, so Laura's in. So I did notify everyone after our last meeting. I did not notify Laura, so I'll let Laura know that she also has a box. So now it's just drilling down on locations. So let's start with Juan. So I think the main thing to know is that there's 5 on South Tacoma Way, and then 2 on Bridgeport, and 3 on Stillicum, 4 on Stillicum. Oh, 5 on Stillicum. So 5 on Stillicum, 4 on South Tacoma Way, and 1 on Bridgeport. So I don't know if you need to know the exact streets, but we know South Tacoma Way is really busy. We know Gravelly Lake and Stillicum is a little I suppose, well, they're all quite busy, but South Tacoma Way has the most going on.
I like the idea of this one being on Stillicum near the McGavick Center, just because it's sort of a performance thing.
Oh,
But which box would we use for the Speedway? I mean, I really like the idea of having a box that honors the Speedway.
112th and
Yeah.
Bridgeport. 112th and Bridgeport.
Oh, I could see that. Okay.
112th and Bridgeport.
Well, of this round, I mean, if we're gonna do another round and specifically pick a box for that, then that's not relevant. But Bridgeport, we just have Bridgeport and Stillicum and Bridgeport and 112. Is there any way Earl could share his screen, Nikki, and show the Speedway one?
Yeah. we will have the
I
section.
don't think I can do that one, Sally.
Oh,
Not
okay.
from what I'm doing right now, no.
Okay, no problem. I'll email that out to everybody. Okay, so let's go, since I think we're familiar with art, I'm gonna stop this and we're gonna go to the spreadsheet of the locations. Does that sound okay? That might be more helpful. Should I just stop share?
You share? I share screen. Great.
There was a map too, right? Didn't Earl have a map at one point in time?
Okay, these are the locations. We're starting with Juan, the dancer, and that genre of painting. Oh, you know what? I actually have these in a PowerPoint so you can see them. Let's do that. Oh. Okay, so this is the first location. So 88th and South Tacoma Way. I'm just gonna go through these so you can get a visual. 96th and South Tacoma Way. Sorry, oh shoot. Where's my Okay, so. And obviously, we're only wrapping 5 or 6 of these. So 88th and South Tacoma Way. 96 and South Tacoma Way. We're looking at Juan's dancer, kind of a delicate, muted.
Is the Hagnus
So,
the entrance?
why don't we-
to-
Why don't we do, I like Lonnie's suggestion of the dancer outside the McGavick Center, and then maybe we can do the Chuck Matthias Speedway one on Bridgeport and Stillicum, because that's still technically Speedway territory.
Yeah,
And which is the one that's by McGavick?
Oh, I can't, I have to look at the list. It's on Stillicum Boulevard.
That would be the Hagnus
Yeah.
entrance.
okay, yeah,
Okay.
this one,
Yeah,
Okay, so that's Juan.
okay,
Is that right?
yeah.
yeah,
The dancer?
the dancer. Dancing in Motion for that one, and then maybe Speedway on the 112th and Bridgeport one.
Okay, 2 down. And then we're gonna go to Jose and the sailboats.
I think we also talked about the salmon one for Jose. I think that's
And
what
the
Patty
salmon.
recommended. Yeah.
Yeah, any of Jose's.
Well, and he's got a lot of vertical artwork, so he's got some of these boxes, he could have a sailboat, one version of the sailboat on one side, one version of the sailboat on the other side.
Yeah, he'll work with.
He's got some flexibility there, I think. I like Stillicum and Lakeview. I actually just like the name Lakeview, and then there's the reference to the water.
Yeah.
There's a connection there.
It's a good idea. Those boxes are kind of small, the Stillicum and Lakeview ones, right?
I've got them called, all the boxes are relatively, there's just 2 sizes of boxes. And I'd have to look closely to know the measurement on this.
There's a tall, narrow one and a more of a squarish one. Kind of seems like at all the locations.
Do we want to go with this one for Jose or
So
any other?
the ones
feedback?
there's 2 sets of boxes by the Jack in the Box, and I think whatever those are, I can't remember this one, the Stillicum and South Tacoma Way, and another one, but whatever those are, I think those should be, at least in my mind, they should be about the same artist because they're so close together.
Oh, that could be a cool one for Rivers. One of them could be that sun artwork and the other one could be the moon artwork.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's
Okay.
a really good idea. Yeah.
So tell me that again. So what are we looking at?
This one, and then there's another one on
So
by
still
Jack in the
coming
Box.
south to come away.
Yeah,
They're
that's right,
right-
Earl.
They're
Yeah.
right next to each other.
It's those two, because the two intersect. Yeah,
I'm going through here. Are they
Not
anything?
No, 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 no. Maybe
it might be that one.
it might have been the 96th.
Yeah, 88th is really
Or
close
88.
to Stillicum there. Yeah. It's the next block north of Stillicum
Yeah.
on South Tacoma Way.
So yeah, so it'd be that 88th one.
Oh, yeah.
We can look at that map that you made, Earl, a while ago. And
Yeah, I don't know
and
if you,
fill that
you
down.
got that, I don't have that PowerPoint, but that might be really helpful.
I don't know where that is any longer.
So I'm just looking at the map on my phone. Yeah, so it's 88th and South Tacoma Way. And then it's Stillicum Boulevard and South Tacoma Way that are the two that are right there at the Jack in the Box.
Okay, so we want to give Rivers, Sun and Moon there. Okay, awesome, you guys. Mauricio, wait, did we get, okay, oh, did we get everyone? So Jose, oh, River, and then, yeah, then we're down to Mauricio and Laura. So let's see, we're gonna go back. Oops. So this one, oh, that one's not open.
That could be a good one for Mauricio. And 100th Street could be a good one for him too.
I agree.
I like the idea of him being somewhere really busy, like even the, wasn't there a 512? I thought there was a 512.
I think the
Oh,
five.
yeah, 512.
I
Yeah,
think the
512
512
is, yeah, entering
Yeah, right there.
I-5 and 512 corridor there. Very busy.
I'd personally like to see that one have a military reference because it's right there at the corner of the base, basically. I don't know if anybody else has that. We don't have that artwork, obviously, but that's,
I
like-
like that idea, though.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a great
Good
idea.
idea.
Okay, so then we're at we have 96 and 100th open. This one. And this one. And
I like the idea of him at 100th. I don't know why I say that, but I'll throw my opinion out
okay.
there.
Anyone else agree with Mauricio for 100th?
Yeah, I think any of those locations would be good for him because it's far enough away from his other artwork.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does need to be further away. Okay, so we've got Mauricio at 100. And then Laura Martinez. For that, we've got 96th, and then we've got Stillicum and Gravelly Lake and 112th and Bridgeport. So 96th is this one. And then Stillicum and Gravelly Lake, which was this one. And then remember hers is the animals, and then Stillicum and or 112th and Bridgeport. Oops. Did we have 112? Yeah, and this one. So so I feel like South Tacoma Way could use an international one. I mean, that's kind of the international district. So I'd prefer to see Laura's Animals on 112th and Bridgeport or Stillicum and Gravelly Lake.
That's kind of right.
I feel like Stillicum and Gravelly Lake gets a good amount of foot traffic.
Yeah,
Folks coming from, I think Lockburn's right over there.
yeah,
In
yeah.
Yeah, I
Stillicum
agree.
and
That's a
Gravelly
really
Lake-
good call.
Stillicum and Gravelly Lake, that's right outside that elementary school too. So, right? Isn't there an elementary school right there?
Yeah, I think this would be the box. for
Yeah,
her, for
I think,
sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
And that would be kind of cool for the elementary school kids.
So, the only boxes we don't have wrapped are 96 and South Tacoma Way and 112th and Bridgeport.
Is it the
Oh,
112th and Bridgeport is what we were saying would be.
And Highway 512, sorry.
And that would, but so 112th
be
and Bridgeport would be the race car.
We moved that to Stillicum and Bridgeport.
Oh, okay, okay.
So we have 3 locations left. And the question is, do you want to do a call for artists for those? Lonnie wanted to see more of Roberto Sanchez. Is anyone else in the, so we could
I could go for another call to artists and see what we drum up. You know, we might drum up more due to the exposure that we've had from the first utility boxes. So we might, who knows? I mean, it might be worthy for us to put out another call to artists.
I agree. I don't think it would hurt anything. See what happens, and if not, you do have artists that you could go back to if you're not getting anybody to submit anything, but it does open it up.
Okay,
Is there a
so
schedule for the remaining 50 or so boxes? They're probably not part of our current budget, but do we know when they might be eligible and when we might want to submit a call for artists for those, or if this call to artists could also eventually feed into that?
so Councilmember Laura Seller will do, in the beginning of the year, the council tells us we have a public art plan with a budget for the signal boxes. And it's X amount every year. To implement X amount of boxes, and we can share that public art plan with you in that budget. So for this year, we have a budget for these boxes to be implemented. And so then next year we'll have money for more. And then, yes, we can use any artists, and we're doing that now, that we don't use, but that get judged to be used would then carry over into the next year until we implemented their art. Once all that art's implemented, then we'd open it up again.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. So I have a call to artists and from 2021. And it says, I just wanted to go over it. It says applicants must reside in King or Pierce County. Do we want to keep that the same?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
There's no age limit. And I just remembered something. I had a submission by a student. Where is that? Okay, sorry. Did we say yes, King or Pierce County, or do you want it just Lakewood? I heard some discussion about wanting the artist to be from Lakewood. How narrow do we want to be?
I think I would suggest you leave it open to King and Pierce and maybe even Thurston County, but in the evaluation process, potentially giving preference to those in Lakewood. Cast a big net.
Yeah, and my preference would be to keep it to Pierce County. I don't really think that you should open it up to King. They have their own programs for RAPs, and Thurston, I believe, does too. Because I know the ones in King County about RAPs. So it would be nice if we could keep it at least to Pierce County. And the preference would be for a Lakewood artist, I think.
Good suggestion.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I agree, Patty.
And Sally, getting back to your thinking on students, what restrictions would there be, if any, for them?
Good question. One student from Harrison Prep did submit art.
Mhm.
And I have to find that. But it has to be digitized. They have to be able to do that. And the student did digitize theirs. Let's see.
So in other words, if they got help from say a teacher and instructor, they would have to understand the file formats we're looking for to help them out.
That's what I was gonna ask too, Daryl. I was like, do we put anything in there that we can assist? We can, like if you have a piece of artwork, we'll have someone help walk you through it at least.
Yeah, I think that language would really belongs there, Patty. That's a good idea.
Because I mean, it's not, Daryl, it's not that hard to do. You could take the file and just convert it most likely to something. So I think that that's something that we could figure out how to help the student, because it can get daunting. They want to submit something, but they don't quite know all of the logistics on how to do that.
Good point.
I guess, hey, Nikki, is there any way I can get to public art? Well, I guess we just have to make sure we have someone designated to.
The file folder.
Oversee.
And then click one of those, and then you can go to Arch Drive, find whatever it is. So this PC.
Sorry, you can keep the dialogue going. Who would help? If we're going to offer that, we have to have someone, and I don't.
Yeah, if it's a student, they would definitely have their instructor as mentor that, would help them with file formats that they probably would be a little bit, shall we say, uncertain of, or maybe not quite sure how to convert them from, say, like if they're working in the Adobe Creative Cloud and they're used to working in Illustrator or Photoshop, these files are easily converted to JPEG or PDF or whatever it is you ask them to do. Most students would know how to do that if they're working in the arts and they have those applications.
But Sally, are you looking for someone on the Arts Commission that could help with that if needed? Is that what you're asking?
Well, if we're offering it, someone's going to have to be spending some time taking a potential sketch and helping that student digitize it. It doesn't have to be someone on the Arts Commission, but it would mean probably paying someone or finding a volunteer art teacher or now we did include students because the age here is 0 to, there is no age limit. But we didn't offer to assist.
Would this include the Stillicum School District as well?
If it's Pierce County.
It's
so
Pierce
yeah.
County.
It shouldn't be that hard to do. I mean, you would either scan it in or take something, and then you could take it into the program, and you would take it either into Photoshop or you could do a trace in Illustrator. There's really easy ways to do it. I just don't think I personally have the bandwidth to do that. I know how to do it, but maybe someone that you or work with, Daryl, or a student or something like that, that could use it maybe as a mentorship type of thing. It's not a ton of work. You're just basically talking someone through it. If they're already, you just have to get the artwork, get it into the computer, and then you could digitize it that way. However, I don't know if Print Northwest is taking it. I don't know if they're just taking the JPEG or if they're taking an EPS. Vector. I don't know.
Nikki, how would I open this?
Either one. No, it's fine. Or Adobe or Microsoft Edge, just say okay.
I'm listening. I'm trying to open up this last piece of artwork because it's important. Okay, I'll work with that on the side. Is that opening? It's just a PDF. Why would it?
Yeah, because they don't have. That's like. There you go.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a very quick background on this. Isabella Reed works for. Sorry.
Up on the, where the webinar is, where you went, and then the green screen share.
Okay, so Isabella Reed works for KBTC Television, and she's on our Fiesta de la Familia committee, and they're a sponsor of the festival. And this is her husband's a digital artist, and so he submitted one, and so did his son. How do I go down on this?
Maybe cancer, there's a lot.
Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. So
The arrows, that's already. Arrow up or down.
can you see that? Okay, so that's the first one.
The arrows. So.
I got it. And then these are abstract concepts.
They superimpose the images onto something. Okay.
So I think that looks kind of cool, that bottom right one, once it's superimposed. But anyways. And then these are Samuel Reed. He goes to Harrison Prep. So this is a student artwork. I love this. I love this.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is really helpful to see him on the boxes.
Sally, I would say any of these are worthy of some consideration, don't you think?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are really good.
I'm pretty impressed, actually.
Okay,
And
well,
we're saying the ones by Samuel or by both Samuel and his dad. I like Samuel's better.
well,
Just-
let's start with Samuel because he's a student. We've always wanted to have a student. And we know we're kind of down. We don't have many locations left. So let's look at his artwork and look at the locations. So we have Highway 512, never mind, that's military. So we have South Tacoma Way in 96, and then we have Bridgeport in 112. Those are the only locations we have left, unless we gave him one of Mauricio's. So again, this is fabulous, really stunning. But I do think we need to give some direction because this is very different than like the planets and Make the Future. So
I like that steam one.
I agree. I like
Yes.
that one. That one right there. That one. Nope. Up. The one that
The Make
Lonnie
the
was talking
Future.
about. That one.
yeah, Make the Future. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that one.
love
as well.
that. So Make the Future, let's just pick a place for that because that's very cool.
I like the idea of it being on 96th and South Tacoma Way.
Any high traffic area would be ideal for something like this. Because what it does, it kind of promotes our area is kind of a leader in forefront in the STEMs. And, you know, and where a lot of the schools are going towards that, putting an emphasis on the technologies.
Oh, I love that. Okay, we've got Sam Reed at 96 and South Tacoma Way for Make the Future.
And I'm going to lobby for that last location. I feel really strongly about Roberto Sanchez. And he
He
submitted.
seems like he should be on South Tacoma Way on the International District, don't you
Well,
think?
I just, he was, we just didn't have enough boxes the first round. And I mean, I don't know how everybody else feels, but I just remember some of his work being really incredible. But maybe I'm alone.
No, I just
I don't think so.
I don't think so, but I would love to see him. He belongs in the International District, I feel.
Well, could we have him at the 96th location and then we put Sam at the 112th in Bridgeport?
Well, the only problem is we viewed his art. So far, you're the only one that liked it, and his others didn't get approved in the last round, but they were for consideration. So I guess I need to hear more from the rest of the group. Do you agree with Lonnie? Do you want to see more of Roberto Sanchez's work?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not opposed.
Same.
Okay, so, let's just stick with this and then we'll get to Roberto. Okay, so are the planets anything, or do you just want to do this one of Samuel Reed's for this? This round. You remember there's 2 boxes. So
I do like the one where he calls out Lake Steilacoom being a local connection, right?
The last one, yeah, I do like that one. I like it. I mean, it's not like crazy or anything, but it's very
yeah.
peaceful
It's
and
simple.
calm.
Yeah.
I do like that.
And so would that be for a Steilacoom? Let's see. Would that be for a different box altogether? Then he'd be getting 4 boxes. Or do you just want me to make a note of that for maybe another round?
I'm good if you want to make a note of it for another round. I mean, if you already are thinking that it's 2, you said 4 boxes are already.
Well, there's 2 per location.
Oh, I
So
get what you're saying.
that would be giving him 4 boxes at two different, and we don't have any Steilacoom
But I mean,
Boulevard.
I did like the fact that you said it was a student. We don't have a student. I wouldn't be, I mean, I don't think it's a big deal that he has 4 boxes, but I would defer to your guys, what you're thinking too.
Yeah, so he could go on, we have 112th and Bridgeport open.
My only concern with that one is there's a lot of white space, which is perfect for graffiti.
But maybe he could rework part of that.
So the question here is, do we want this to go on 112th and Bridgeport? Which is our last location.
I think it's a very pretty one.
That's the corner of where St. Clair Hospital is.
That's right. It's in desperate need of something.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely peaceful. It's a peaceful piece. That would have a definite calming effect.
And if we did this, we'd no longer need a call for artists for any remaining ones for this year.
We still need one at 512 and South Tacoma Way for military box.
Okay.
But you know, it doesn't hurt. We can, the boxes would be filled for this year, but it takes a long time to weed through the artists. So it's not too early to do a call for artists. Council member, in my opinion.
Sounds great.
And so
Everybody,
nothing.
Sally, I
for
do need to get
Steven.
going though.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
let's stick with the time. It's just after 1. Thank you so much.
Thank
If
you. I'll
anyone,
talk to
okay,
everybody later.
bye.
Bye, Earl.
For
Bye, Earl.
everyone else, is Stephen Reed up for consideration for next round?
I'd be in favor of that.
Yeah, I would include him in what we get out of the call for artists, right? And just put him in the pool with everyone else. So he has consideration.
I agree with that.
Okay, thank you so much. This was such a productive meeting. Thank you for taking your lunch hour to make these important decisions.
Thank you, everyone. I have to go too, so have a great one.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for
Bye.
inviting me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sally, could I stay on for just a moment?
Absolutely.
Okay, good, great.
Stop, sure.
Okay, stop there. Should we
And
stop
with-
recording?
Yeah, this is totally off the record.
Wait, I'm gonna stop the recording.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Oh, there's stop video over there. Stop video, second.
Well,
one over.
wouldn't that close him down? I don't want.
Oh.
I always just end it.